For 28 years, Bellevue has had Women's Night Out, but in this very special year, it's Women's Day In. And as many of you know, Bellevue Women's Center is the only regional facility that we have in our entire area, and it's something that we need to support. Just as a little bit of a history story, the hospital was started back in the 30s by Nurse Jorgensen, who wanted a better place for birthing for women in the area. And she continued her efforts and developed many of the techniques that are actually being used today. Later, her daughter, Dr. Grace Jorgensen, took over the hospital and ran it as a major facility for a number of years. And then back around 2000, they decided that it was in need of a change, and so Ann Sale was appointed the CEO of Bellevue Women's Hospital. And shortly thereafter, very shortly, she asked me if I would be her chairman. And for the first couple of years, we really had our hands full with a lot of things going on and making a lot of ends meet. Over the years, Bellevue Women's Hospital greatly expanded their OB/GYN services to the entire community. And as we took over, we recognized that there were a lot of things that needed to be done. First, we needed to have a breast care center. It was interesting that for many years they had mobile mammography vans that traveled the entire area, 17 counties, serving women in a way that they were not used to seeing before. And it was my wife, Jane, who hopped on the mobile mammography van when it came to our office and encouraged the other women in our office to do the same thing. And it was due to that effort on her part that she was diagnosed with a ductal carcinoma in situ. And it led to some further developments that we created later on by opening the breast care center there with the most modern equipment available at the time. It was about at that time that I realized that women's health care in Schenectady and elsewhere needed somebody who was going to be an advocate. And I didn't think that we really had a strong advocate for women's health care in this area. And I decided I was going to accept that challenge. We found out just a year or so after we had begun our work that a New York State commission had been set up to reduce the number of hospitals and hospital beds throughout the state. It was the Berger Commission. And they looked in Schenectady and they decided that they were going to have to close both St. Clair's and Bellevue. And this to us was a shock because at the time Bellevue had been doing such a great job with women's OB/GYN and maternity care that Ellis had really turned down its OB/GYN efforts. They still did maternity, but Schenectady would have been without women's services if, in fact, Bellevue had closed. We had some long and lengthy discussions with the Commissioner of Health, and finally one day he said, okay, Ellis and Bellevue would merge into one business. And so what happened in early 2000s, Bellevue became part of Ellis Medicine. And it's this part that we have tried to keep a little bit separated so we never forget that women's health care is vital to this region and vital to the women in our community. As we looked at the opportunities and the needs in our community, we realized that heart health was the #1 killer of women. And so we came up with a really great idea, and that was to see if we could open a women's heart health center at Bellevue. We went to the president of the hospital, and then we went to the cardiology group in Schenectady and said, would you help us open a women's heart health center? And they looked at us and agreed that this was something that we needed to do. And interestingly, it was the only women's heart health center in the entire state of New York, and we're very proud of that. And at this center, we're all about education and monitoring of women. The metabolic syndrome are 5 basic factors that people have to deal with: high blood pressure, obesity, sugar, triglycerides, and HDLs. And if we watch those very carefully, doctors can monitor a patient's health. And with women, they didn't often think about doing those things. Women didn't go to the doctor to have their heart health checked. And what we've tried to do is to get them to go to Bellevue, to get their heart health checked, to be screened, and to be monitored so that they can maintain good, essential heart health. Bellevue is all about trying to keep women's health factors really in reach and in touch. And so today we again make an effort to raise money for Bellevue Women's Hospital. Your participation is greatly needed. I know I support it, and I certainly hope that you will help to support it too. Thank you for being at Women's Day In.
Hi, I'm pleased to announce this year's Janey Award recipient is Dr. Sonali Patel. Dr. Patel has been with Ellis for over 10 years. She's a family medicine physician by training. Right now she's a hospitalist. She works with the hospitalist team to take care of some of our sickest patients. She also works with the residency program to help teach the residents. When she's with the team, she steps into the room. She exudes this level of confidence. She's authentic. She's knowledgeable. She's caring. She's really driving a lot of inpatient care here at Ellis right now, particularly during the COVID pandemic. We're proud that she's received this award. She's very influential in what we do. She's married to a physician who's also on the senior team here at Ellis. I know she has 3 kids at home, so she's doing the whole work-life balance thing and doing it very effectively. I'm so happy that she's receiving this award, and I can almost feel Jane in the background here. Jane would be so proud that Dr. Patel is receiving this award. Thank you, Dr. Patel, for everything you're doing.
The lady here is my wife, Jane Golub. This award that we give each year from Ellis Medicine to a physician, a woman physician in our area, is a leadership award in Jane's honor, and it's called the Janey. And it is with great pride that this year we give this award to Dr. Sonali Patel.
Thank you, Neil.
For her wonderful work.
I'm happy to receive this award and carry on Jane's legacy. I thank the Ellis Foundation for honoring me with this award. It's been a journey. It just feels like yesterday when I started my journey with this community about 17 years ago as a first-year resident. I've made wonderful memories with my faculty who have done an excellent job of training so many residents in the community. I think the only one around who is still full-time is Dr. Murphy, for whom I still fondly remain a kiddo. I've made some beautiful friendships, have worked with wonderful colleagues, and have had some challenging patients, which kept the penchant of learning still alive. Among various things in healthcare that I have learned, one thing that is applicable today is the ability to accept and embrace change. It is so true as we live through this pandemic, where things are changing constantly and testing our ability to adapt. I could not have done this alone. I have to thank the entire Ellis team, especially my hospitalist colleagues who are like a family and have made me feel nothing less. My case workers and social workers with whom I have worked so closely, who themselves have a challenging job of getting our patients home safely with limited resources that are available in the community. My patients and their families for trusting me at the most vulnerable time of their lives. Dr. Schwachuk, Dr. Liebers, and the rest of the Ellis leadership for having the faith in me. And of course, my family. My husband Avinash, without his support, this journey would not have been possible. My kids, for their understanding, especially when I had to leave for the early morning 7 a.m. meetings. My dad, my sisters, for their constant encouragement. And my mom, who at age 82 still loves to make my favorite dishes. I hope she can still see the same sparkle in my eyes as I see in hers when I tell her, "Mom, that was delicious." Thank you all. This has been a great honor. With everyone's support and blessings, I hope to continue this journey for more years to come.